Currently, with the flatbed flipped over, the fuel tank is gonna sit here. These straps sit on here, bolt to this, and then bolt into that angle iron. That's what retains the fuel tank down. This is the winch plate to hold a hydraulic winch so that when we have to recover rigs that are broken, we can winch a long time and not overheat like an electric winch. However, once I put the tank in, I'd have to pull the tank out to put in the winch. So I'm gonna build the bracket right now for the winch and bolt the winch in, even though it's not gonna get final installed for a while, but at least it'll be bolted and in place and I won't have to pull the tank to get to it. And then I also know when I go to build brackets for my filler neck and my fuel lines and all that stuff, I don't have to redo them when I go to mount the winch. So this is an 1/8 inch plate. It's not normally an 1/8 inch plate, wouldn't be thick enough really for a winch plate. However, it's going through another 3/16 plate also, and I'm gonna cut holes in it and plug weld it so it'll all be one piece, and it's essentially making a 5/16 plate and not adding any more weight than we absolutely need to. So it'll stay weight conscious, and that'll put the winch right here at the back of the headache rack, nice and confined, easy access. It'll work for both a jib pole to recover other rigs, and it'll work for a rear winch for the truck itself. So to do that well, like I said, plug weld, and then you're gonna wanna stitch weld the whole plate all the way around to make sure they're nice and distributing loads. With the flatbed being upside down, we're gonna do some rock lights. There's a wire that comes down into this wire box here that will get wired in at a later date. Made these fancy little brackets, and then it works like so. And then this is gonna get welded up here inside the wheel well, like this. So it gives me a nice angle. I'll be able to see my tire. I'll be able to see the obstacles I'm driving over. And then also with it being at an angle and kind of tucked back under the frame rail, it'll keep it protected from mud and snow and debris. I'm gonna put another one in the middle somewhere under the gooseneck. I made 3 of these brackets, so it'll probably end up getting put over here. And that's convenient, not so much for driving, but for if you're having a problem in the dark. You can see under the rig to see if you're hung up, because if all your lights are out here, then your frame rails and all that stuff blocks the light from what's under the center. So if you get high centered, you can't see where you're high centered. That I know is a pretty clear space to see all the way around the axle and everything, to see what's going on if I'm hung up on my differential or something like that. There'll be matching rock lights on that side. And then additionally on the truck, there's getting strip lights that are amber. So you'll have turn signals and white lights shining down for when you get out. And the white lights shining down will be hooked to the reverse lights. This truck is getting the typical white reverse lights that are here, and there's 2 in the headache rack. These little guys are flush mounted scene lights, and they're gonna get mounted in the back. Haven't decided yet. That's next after I get done mounting the winch plate, and then we have an air tank on order. When that comes in next week, I'll be putting that in, and then putting these lights in, those lights in, final mount in the fuel tank. Then once the fuel tank's mounted, the filler neck's gonna come out over here, and then the filler neck's gonna get chased up over, and I'll have to cut holes in the bed, run it down. I plan to run it high in elevation on the headache rack, so when you go to fill it, you have a nice gravity stream to fill your tank. Because usually when you fill a flatbed, you're like, hold the nozzle upside down, and they're sucked to fill, and I don't want to do that. So I'm willing to give up a little space in my headache rack for that. And then once that's figured out, I will build a bracket to hold the Badlands off-road jack on the headache rack also. is right here. I want it to fill, it's gonna chase under this. It's gonna 90 and come up somewhere over here, and then come up the headed crack and filler spout's gonna be over there. And I haven't decided how it's gonna look yet. It's kind of hard to decide when it's upside down. And then we have this custom filler neck. As we talked about previously, the new plan is to, the fuel tank sits here like it always has. Filler neck is going to come up, down, follow the bed, and then right about here, it's going to cut and go like this. So to do that, I need to cut this stuff out of the way, and this loop out of the way, and this rod and this bracket. And as you can see, it's not even touching. Alright, cut out the bracket, and that's gone. Little parts of the tube and a whole bunch of slag. Roughly, very quick and dirty, sketched out this little plan. Width there and there, buys me a 1/2 inch clearance on my hose, so I'm just gonna run right down this edge on this U-channel, whatever. And then 2 3/4 inches over, roughly the same size as the bottom of a paint can, so I got a nice little gauge. And here's the other side, and I hope that's enough distance for my tube to come through the flatbed like so. I'm not trying to go like the whole length, it's just I need the top side to clear, and I need to come into the angle on the bottom side of the hose to clear. I think that's enough, so it'll be nice and rounded. We'll grind it pretty and smooth. It's behind my little wall on the inside, and then we'll be flipping her over and putting her on the truck. All right, folks, that's roughly where it's gonna sit. And we got this nice little angle. Don't worry, I'll clean up my jagged edges when I got it flipped over and get to it a little easier. But ain't bad, not bad, not bad. I mean, not good, but not bad. And you're not gonna see any of it anyway. And we'll clean up it hasn't been ground yet either. So, you know, we'll grind it up, and then we'll put the tank all in, and now that part's done. That means everything that's underneath the bed is basically done. Oh, I gotta fix, when I plug welded this here, this wire was on the other side of it. It got a little crispy. So we're gonna fix that wire before I forget about it. And then clean off the bed and start up a skid steer. And she's gonna go on that beauty over there. I kinda plan to paint the frame first. I kinda need to power wash it outside. I started grinding up and cleaning up stuff. I guess maybe I should power wash this. Sandblaster, well, attachment in the Hotsy gun thing. Nothing else. It's an old truck with an old frame. This ain't no resto mod. I mean, it is a resto mod, and I'm trying to do it nice, but I'm also not going to be doing the whole frame, so what good is half the frame? To be continued.